Imagine a moment so fleeting, yet capable of shaking millions of hearts around the world. The camera may have captured only a few seconds, but the lingering feeling felt much longer. And that's where it all began. An unusual look, a pause too long to be accidental. Amidst the hustle and bustle of the entertainment world, there was something different that night. It wasn't the stage, the show, or the cheering crowd. It was the two figures standing there, as if the world around them was slowly disappearing. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan. Two familiar names, two individuals who had come a long way. But this time, it wasn't about careers, it wasn't about achievements. It was about something far more subtle, and perhaps far deeper. When their eyes met, there was an inexplicable silence. It was as if time had stopped for a moment, making room for something unspoken. It wasn't just a casual look. There was a story behind it, an emotion that couldn't be hidden. The fans noticed immediately. They saw something different. It wasn't because the scene was dramatic. It wasn't because there was a grand statement. Precisely because it all felt so real, so genuine, so human. And as that moment was replayed, dissected, and talked about around the world, one question kept arising. Was this just a coincidence? Or was there something hidden all this time, finally starting to come to light? There were small movements, almost imperceptible if not looked closely. A step closer, a pause before speaking, a smile that came too slowly. Those small details became the center of attention. Because sometimes what matters most isn't the big, flashy things, but the simple, the honest, the unplanned. And that's what made this moment so touching. Wang Yibo, usually calm and reserved, seemed different this time. There was a softness in his eyes, something difficult to hide even as he tried to remain professional. As for Xiao Zhan, he couldn't completely hide his feelings either. There was a warmth radiating, a subtle tremor in his every expression. It was as if an old story had suddenly resurfaced. And between them, the distance felt increasingly small. Not because they had moved closer physically, but because the energy between them had changed. Warmer, deeper, more real. Fans began piecing together tiny pieces of the past. Old moments that felt different when revisited. As if everything had been leading up to one point, this moment. Social media was filled with speculation. The video was replayed over and over, every second analyzed, every expression interpreted. But beneath it all, one thing was undeniable. The feelings that arose were real. Not because of confirmation, not because of confession, but because the human heart could feel it. There was something genuine there, something unfeigned. And perhaps that's why this moment went viral. Not because of sensationalism, but because of the honesty that radiated unintentionally. Something rare in a world often full of fabrications. Some might choose to see it as a coincidence, a casual interaction exaggerated. But for those who felt it, the moment was so much more. There were emotions that couldn't be described in words. There were vibrations that could only be felt, not described. And that's what made it so special. Perhaps we will never know the truth behind all of this. Perhaps there will never be an official explanation. But sometimes, mystery actually makes things more beautiful. Because in that uncertainty, we are given space to feel. To believe in what we see, in what we feel, in what cannot be explained. And in the end, perhaps that is what matters most. Not whether it was love or not whether it was real or just an illusion, but how that moment made us feel. A look, a silence, a small moment that turned into something big. And within it lies a story that may never be fully revealed, but will always be remembered. But if we look deeper, there's something that feels stronger with each replay. As if it's not just about what's visible, but about what's implied. A connection that doesn't need words to be understood. Some fans even say that the moment feels like a fragment of an unfinished story. Like two people who were once in the same place, then separated by time, and now accidentally found each other again. And what makes it even more touching is the way they try to remain normal. They keep smiling, they stay professional, they keep playing their roles in public. But that's precisely where the honesty lies, because there are things that can't be completely hidden. Every small gesture becomes meaningful. Even the silence between them seems to speak louder than lengthy dialogue. And the audience, they feel it without needing to explain. There's a kind of warmth that slowly spreads from the screen to the audience's hearts. A feeling that's hard to explain, but so easy to feel. As if we're all witnessing something deeply personal. And perhaps this is why the moment lives on. Not just as a viral video, but as an emotional experience shared by so many people around the world. Over time, that moment doesn't fade. It only grows stronger. Each time we revisit it, there's a new detail to discover, a new emotion to feel. It's as if it's constantly evolving, like the feeling itself. And amidst all the interpretations, theories, and hopes, one thing remains constant. There's beauty in unspoken sincerity. Something that doesn't need to be explained, because the heart already understands. Maybe it's true. There are things in life that don't require certainty. Because sometimes, what matters most isn't the answer, but the feeling that lingers, silent, deep, and never truly gone. And the more we think about it, the more it seems that moment wasn't just a passing coincidence. There's a pattern forming, there's a recurring emotion, as if the universe is silently weaving together something that can't be explained logically. Some people try to be rational, saying it's all just overinterpretation. But strangely, the more they deny it, the more they become convinced that there's something deeper there. Because human feelings can't always be limited by visible facts. There's intuition, there's a vibration, there's something that can only be felt without the need for concrete proof. And that moment was full of things like that. When the camera stopped rolling and the lights slowly dimmed, the question remained. What really happened between them? Was it all just a fleeting moment or part of something much longer? And perhaps, precisely because there was no definitive answer, that moment was so timeless. It wasn't bound by explanation, unconstrained by definition. It was free to live in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. Some saw it as hope, some as nostalgia, and still others as an unfinished story. Everyone had their own version, and each felt true in its own way. But beyond all those interpretations, there was one undeniable commonality. The moment was touching. It left a mark, not just on the screen, but in the hearts of those who watched it with such emotion. And perhaps, in the end, that's what it truly meant. It wasn't about what happened between them, but about how one simple moment could make so many people feel that love, in any form, can never be hidden.